Hey New Life, so glad you're watching this video. We are wrapping up our fall group season, which is crazy to me. It feels like it just started, but we're already 7 to 8 weeks into this. And so I really hope you've made some good friendships, and it's been fun for myself being in a couple groups of people I didn't know so much at the start and just seeing how God's actually grown friendships and relationships. And man, there's been some really cool stories coming out of groups this season. So thank you for what you do. Thank you for hosting a group. I hope it's been impactful for you. We sent out a survey a few weeks back, and maybe you had a chance to fill that out, but 140 people actually responded to it and told us what they thought of either being in a group or being a host in a group. And it was encouraging for me to see that 9 out of 10 of you guys were saying, like, man, I had a great experience hosting a group, and a ton of people saying, like, and it's good because they're in your groups, saying that actually, like, I want to stay with this group for the long term. And so I'm so encouraged as we go into the next 2 weeks. And I know schedules are wonky, and so for my group, we have a group that meets on Thursday nights. We're obviously not meeting on Thanksgiving, so this coming week is kind of our last week in group. So we're having our Friendsgiving coming up, and I love Friendsgivings for a lot of reasons, but one, it's really a time to celebrate what God's been doing, and not that we have an agenda to get through, but simply we're a place where friendships can deepen. My wife and I, 4 years ago, we hosted our first Friendsgiving. We had no idea what we were doing. We had just heard about it and said, man, what if we brought together friends that are kind of becoming like family, and we invited our neighbors and our coworkers and people we haven't connected with in a while. What if we brought them all together and ate a meal together? That feels Jesus-y. So we decided to have it together, and 20 minutes before the Friendsgiving would happen at our house, the power goes out. There's a big storm that happened, and it just knocked out all the power. And I looked at my wife and I said, are we going to keep going with this group? And she said, well, I already cooked everything, the ham, and everyone's already bringing other stuff, and so I think we just go for it. So that night, 36 people would show up to my house, and if you've been to my house, it does not hold 36 people at all. We counted, we had 12 chairs there, so 1 out of 3 people had somewhere to sit. Then it was pitch dark, and we just texted the group and said, hey, bring the food, bring a candle or a flashlight, and this is still happening. We ended up running out of parking in our driveway, so we parked on the road, and then we filled up the road, and so we parked down by a school, and we were just shuttling people back and forth. And I'll never forget this night because, one, I ate delicious food. I have no idea what it was because I couldn't see anything, but the food was amazing. But there was moments that night to be able to talk to people and hear more of their story. And it reminded me of Jesus' work, and really in the Gospels it says that the Son of Man came eating and drinking. I don't know what you picture Jesus being like, but that's how his closest friends and even his enemies described him. A man who ate and drank. A man who spent time with promiscuous people at a dinner table. The entire message of the gospel might be able to be summed up as Jesus saying, there's room at the table for you. So that's why I love Friendsgivings, and I'm excited that your group is having one. Maybe you're getting caught up on the details of like, oh, who's cooking what? Man, that's don't worry about it. Ask everyone to bring something, and God will provide, and maybe you make the main dish and have everyone bring a side, whatever it looks like. But don't miss out on the importance of the night. We actually got to do one of the things Jesus called all believers to do every time they gather, is to celebrate him, to take communion together, to eat and drink and just talk about what God's been doing. I know for our Friendsgiving, we're simply just asking a couple questions of like, hey, how has God shown up this year for you? How are you growing closer to him? What next steps do you have? Remember, we talked about that. Our role as a group host is to help give next steps to people. And so I'm really excited for your Friendsgiving. I know a ton of people have been texting in pictures all week of their Friendsgiving. We had a few of them get sent in already, and it's just, for me, it's a picture of heaven. And as we're going through Revelation, it ends with this heavenly banquet, this moment that we're invited into the presence of God, and he just says, let's share a meal together. So I think when we have these Friendsgivings, what we're doing is we're welcoming in the kingdom of God to earth, and we're saying, man, my living room in this moment looks a lot like heaven. And so, like I said, I can't wait to hear how it goes. Please take photos, post them on social media, tag me, tag your campus lead, whatever it looks like. But we want to celebrate and share that together. So what next week's video, just to keep you in the loop, will look like is it's kind of a way for your group to continue community in the new year. We understand that December is just busy. We've intentionally said, hey, we're not going to do some resources. I know groups will move away from a weekly meeting as December goes on. But we're going to encourage you, do something as a group together. Maybe you're going to go to a Christmas farm together. Maybe you're going to do something together. And I'm excited to hear how you continue having community in December. And we'll jump back into our next group season. It actually launches January 20th. And we're going through the Gospel of Matthew together. So I think it's fun to talk about Jesus and power. And then actually we see Jesus and his journey to the cross and the story unraveling coming out of Christmas. And so I can't wait. Man, I've been praying for you a lot, praying that God continues to show up in the 204 groups that are up and running, 1,450 people in those groups. And so thank you for what you do. We're praying that this week, this Friendsgiving season is amazing. And I can't wait to hear from you guys. We love you. We'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.